passion, and desire will be the drive to overcome any kind of challenges. How to start if you want to become an entrepreneur. Now, first of all, to start, you have to feel the passion of what you're going to do. So you must be burning inside in order to start a venture and to become an entrepreneur. Why? Because exactly those values, passion and desire, will be the drive to overcome any kind of challenges in that journey. Believe me, passion and desire are extremely important. You gotta have a crystal clear vision about what you want to do and where you want to go. Now, the crystal clear vision doesn't come right at the beginning, but you gotta be aware of the fact that that's the direction you have to go. You gotta find and search for the crystal clear vision. Now, if you have an idea and the feeling of, I want to do it, I feel it start burning out, I have this idea, I would like to do that. First thing you should do, if you want to be serious on your project, it's let the idea sink in. Let it sink inside of you. You have this idea, and often you start left and right, you start making, even, like some people, like they really start purchasing stuff without having thought about what the journey is going to be in order to become successful, in order to make it happen. So first thing, let it sink in, think about it, meditate about it, ask other people, ask about what other people think. Even if they're negative about it, take the essence of what they're trying to tell you without forgetting that they are not in your place, in your position. So if you had the idea to do something specific, it's because you're looking at this thing from a certain perspective. The person you're going to ask doesn't have the same perspective, which doesn't change and doesn't take away the fact that his opinion could be valuable and could give you very good input. So you have to learn what to take out from the advice that people give you. Doesn't matter if they're very important entrepreneurs or if they're, just your friends and family. Now, I can tell you an example of mine. I really want to bring in example of what I've gone through and what I've done. I'm a very impatient person. I think that's part of being an entrepreneur. I'm impatient. I want to make it happen. I want to see it happen. I want to see it. Sometimes, when I was younger, I was doing things just for the sake of doing it. They were there and then they were also dying right after. That's why I'm telling you, let it sink in. Think about where do I need to go? What do I need to do? What am I going to do if this happens? What am I going to do if I get demotivated and so on? So I don't know, it was about 10 years ago, I did a project called styleofwood.com. Styleofwood.com. It was somehow, I was taking it out from Style of Zug and I did Style of Wood. Why? Because my parents had beautiful boxes that were somewhere in the warehouse, and I said, you know what, we're not really selling those because somehow I think they're not part of a concept and people don't get it. I'm gonna do a website. So 10 years ago, it wasn't easy as today, there wasn't a Shopify, Squarespace and so on. What did I do? I gave the boxes to a photographer and he started shooting, and that cost me like 4,500. I did the website, that was another 2,000 francs. I started do the copywriting, and so on. So I spent around 8,000 francs to do all of this. I started the project, I did the first 8 posts on Instagram, boom, my motivation went down. I don't even know why anymore. One thing I can tell you, I had no clue what I was doing because I started too soon, with everything. I had the idea and then I just started making. Now I'm in a position that when I have an idea, I know what it takes, I know what the structure has to be, what the difficulties are, I know my motivation, I know the reasons why I'm doing things. So now it's easier. Now I have an idea, I think, can I do it, can I not do it, do I want to do it, do I want to put the effort in, yes I want to do it, boom, I'm gonna do it. That's exactly what I did with this channel. So I will keep on going and doing with this channel because now I have the experience of what it means being consistent. But back at the time, I had much less experience, I had much less entrepreneurial experience. Boom, I started and it died after a few weeks, and they just had spent the money, spent the energy, resources, time, and that's it. That's why I'm telling you, let it sink in, think about it, ask people, let just some time go, because if the time goes and you're still thinking about it, then it might really be the right thing to do. Sometimes things are just like this, you know? It's not super strategic what I'm saying, but when you're young and when you're at the beginning of an entrepreneurial journey, then you just gotta go over this idea. Maybe the first idea you have is not the best one. So you might have to wait for better ideas to come and so on, but you will feel it. Believe me, that's something you would just feel. I cannot even explain it. You know, what does it mean to feel it? Believe me, if you keep on thinking about it, if you really meditate on it, if you start asking people, then you will feel which one would be the right project to do. Which still doesn't mean that this project will be successful, but it will be a venture that you will feel like this is worth doing. Very important. So once you've gone through this thinking process and meditation process and interview process to other people, what they think about this idea, you have to put all of yourself into the project. Okay? So that's why you need this burning desire, you need the passion, because if you have the passion, you want to put all of yourself into the project. There's no entrepreneurial journey that starts somewhere, yeah, you know, I'm gonna do a little bit something and let's see. If you really wanna do something, then you have this fire within you that brings you to a point where you're like, oh, I just want to make it happen. And you have to be, you know, you are the example for other people watching. If you believe in your own project, if you believe in your own idea and product and service and company, then people around you at some point will start believing. So at the beginning it would be 1-2 people who would just say, it's cool, you're doing this. But then if you keep on going, if you keep on showing this passion, consistency, people will say, wow, this guy maybe has something to say, he has something to sell, and therefore they start really getting interested, and you might get the first real sales where you say, okay, this is starting to be worth it. And by the way, when I'm saying about you have to put yourself in, I'm not talking here about, you know, selling coffee pads, you know, and saying, yeah, I'm an entrepreneur, I sell coffee pads. This is just like trying to be self-employed or trying to do some side money. This is not an entrepreneurial journey. An entrepreneurial journey means creating something that is valuable to the people and that makes a difference in your area, in the world, on the net, whatever it might be. This is being an entrepreneur. So I will speak at some point about, you know, being self-employed and being an entrepreneur. There's a slight difference. You might agree or disagree with the way how I see being an entrepreneur, but I truly think that there is a real truth behind what the difference between being self-employed and being an entrepreneur, behind just having a business and being an entrepreneur. Often an entrepreneur does something that really goes beyond money at the beginning, you know? You don't do it for the money, you do it for the purpose and for a vision you have, and then at some point it starts becoming a money machine, this company you have. And then, you know, if you're a good entrepreneur, it becomes a huge money machine where people around you start earning and making a living out of it, and you are the one taking the biggest portion of it. So, to be an entrepreneur, to start being an entrepreneur, you gotta have a vision about what you want to do. You have to start small, you don't have to start big. Start small, but have a big vision of where you want to be, because that vision, that, you know, final idea of where you're going to be in 5 years, that will be the fuel, that will be the drive to bring you down there. And then and obviously, you know, I'm not going to tell you, you know, now you need to start opening up your company. This is all part of being an entrepreneur. I mean, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you got to go on your computer and start finding out what do you need to do in order to open up your company, and the financial part and the accounting part and all of these things. I'm not going to explain you all of this, like the boring part. I will explain you the human part of being an entrepreneur, which is where you often fall and where you often will stop because you're like, maybe it's not worth it, maybe I'm not worth it, maybe I'm not good enough. Nothing of all of this happens. So what we've just spoken here, that's how you start thinking as an entrepreneur and being an entrepreneur. It all starts in this 10 minutes, 12 minutes that we have talked about right now here. If you get this kind of mentality, if you're aware of all these things, this is the first path to become an entrepreneur. Stay tuned for the next video because there's more valuable content coming up towards you that is gonna get more and more in detail and will help you in your journey as an entrepreneur. Thanks for watching Game Changers and stay tuned.